Hello bakers, and happy Hanukkah to those of you who celebrate Hanukkah. Tomorrow night Hanukkah starts and we're sort of ready around here. I wanted to try a new thing for Hanukkah. I don't like to fry, so I don't generally make sufganiyot, which are jelly donuts, or latkes. I know that's terrible, but I just don't. I'm thinking about making baked ones. But anyway, I came up with sort of a fun twist on a Hanukkah treat. I'm going to make an onion board with challah dough, but I'm going to shape it like a dreidel. Before I start, I just want to call special attention to my absolutely amazing, beautiful, wonderful, and utilitarian Hanukkah apron that my friends Charlene and Michael made for me and sent me last year. It's so special, and it's not just cute, it's really a great apron. It's long, it has pockets, and it's comfortable. So thank you again, Charlene and Michael. I know you're going to be watching and getting a kick out of this. So I'm just going to start with my regular challah dough that I always make. I'm going to put in the water. By the way, you know I always put the recipes in the description, so I'm not going to tell you the amounts. That just wastes time right now. So water, egg, scrape that in a little bit. Don't want to waste any of that good eggy flavor. Okay, I think that's good enough. And the next liquid is grapeseed oil and honey, and I always measure the grapeseed oil first. You can use any vegetable oil, it just needs to be a neutral oil. And then I need 40 grams of honey added to this. Almost there. Okay. And the reason I add it to the grapeseed oil is because it pretty much comes right out. You don't have to be scraping that icky, sticky oil. Maybe a little scrape, but you saw how it just kind of fell out. I love that. It's like a party trick. Let me just run some water in this eggy bowl really fast. Dry my hands and continue. So we've gotten our liquids in: water, eggs, grapeseed oil, and honey. And now we're going to put in bread flour. I always use King Arthur, and no, they don't pay me to say that. I don't get paid for promoting anything, don't worry. Okay, I've put in my bread flour, and now I need to put in my sugar and my salt. And in the middle, my yeast. That's it for all the dough ingredients. So while my dough is working its little magic in the bread machine, turning into dough, I'm going to be making the onion mixture that tops the flat challah dough. So I'm not going to let this dough rise. I mean, it will have risen twice already, but I'm really going to deflate it. I'm going to roll it out pretty flat, cut out the dreidel shape. I hope I can. You know that I'm not very artistic at that stuff, but it's a pretty simple shape. I hope I can do it. Think of it, can do it. And so I'm going to come back and I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to grate the onions and make the mixture to top the onion board shaped like a dreidel. And we're back. I have just peeled and cut up an onion. Oops. Flying onion bits. I gotta pick that up because it's not good for the dog. So I have cut an onion just basically in four after I peeled it. And I have my food processor set up with this grating blade. If you don't have a food processor, no worries. There's always the old-fashioned grater. But we are going to use a whole onion, so take care of your knuckles. And if you don't have a food processor, or you have one, but you don't have the grating blade, just chop it finely and maybe drain it to get the water out. And if you don't have a food processor or a grater, There's always just chopping the onion really small. No rules here. You can have it a little bigger if you want it. It's your onion board. I want it pretty small. So, oops, what am I doing here? Just throw some onion in there. And of course, you know, I'm kind of lazy, to be honest, so, okay, why aren't we? There we go. Pretty fast, right? That was half an onion grated already. And that is why this Cuisinart is my friend. Oh, I have to do just one part. All right. Uno más. All right. And a little mess here at the top because some always escapes. But I take this out, you'll see that this is perfect. So what I'm going to do now is put this on some paper towel to get the moisture out. And then, oof, and it's burning my eyes here. Oh boy. And then when I've got it pretty dried off, I will come back and we'll show the sauteing part. We are back. You can hear the bread machine going thump, 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 because it just started kneading. So that's actual proof that I'm making the dough, and you can take a peek in there through the window. It just started. In fact, let me just take a peek at the moisture. Oh, still, we need a little longer. Okay, so it is time to saute our onions. After we cut up the first onion, kind of looked at it and went, nah, that's not enough. So we actually did two, I would say, pretty, not super huge, not softball size onions, yellow onions, but normal size onions, so two of them. So we did go back and add another onion to that, just for your notes. I like to cook with grapeseed oil because it's for high heat cooking. This is where the Hanukkah oil comes in, by the way. Since I told you I don't like to fry or anything, I am using oil for this Hanukkah dish. I'm going to turn on my burner. And I'm going to wait for that oil to heat up just a little bit. Maybe I'll turn it a little higher. And I'm going to saute and saute. I'm not going to caramelize the onions. I'm just going to saute until they are opaque. And we'll show you what that looks like in a minute. I've been sauteing the onions. They got a little brown, which won't hurt anything. They are pretty close. I want to show you my mom's little trick. She didn't like to make spoon rests dirty, even though she had at least 6 spoon rests. So she just used a little foil, pop-up foil, single sheets, and it's instead of a spoon rest, and I don't know, I kind of like it. And I do it also because my mom used to do it. So I think these onions are done. Turn off my burner. I've rinsed the bowl out where the raw onions were. And get that out of there. And this isn't really a recipe. This is a definite to taste type thing. That's hot, be careful. You can see how much 2 onions got much smaller than I thought. I'm gonna hit this with a little kosher salt. I know that it's customary to pick up the salt and be fancy, but I don't like when the salt gets under my fingernail. So I'm just going to use a spoon. Just grabbed a plastic spoon. I'm not gonna over salt this. I only have about a teaspoonful. And I'm gonna throw in some poppy seeds. I'm gonna mix that and see if it looks like enough. And that's a pretty simple topping, right guys? Let's see. The question is, do we need more poppy seeds. I think so. A little bit more. Again, this is totally your personal choice. I love poppy seeds. And I love sesame seeds, but I'm not putting them in here. I guess you could even do like everything bagel. That would be delicious, but that's not what I was going for this time. All right, so this filling is ready to be put on top of the dough before it bakes. Challah dough is complete. I've taken it out of the bread pan and I've just started rolling it out. I don't want it to rise and I don't want it to be too puffy. I know that when it bakes it will puff up a little, but I'm trying to, for that reason, I'm trying to get pretty thin. So I'm going to work on this a bit longer before I make the dreidel shape. I'm a little bit of a cheater. These are edible ink food decorating pens. They're meant to be shown, but in this case, I'm using them to sort of draw the shape of the dreidel so I don't screw that up. So I've already placed some dots and I'm just going to do this as a cutting guide. Make it easier for myself. Also, it has to fit the cookie sheet. If you don't want to do this part, or if you don't have these markers, you can maybe use some kind of a straight edge to cut. This is just what's going to be easier for me. And I used blue. That looks pretty good, right? Okay. So now I'm just going to use my bench scraper. Move that cookie sheet out of my way. And I'm going to cut this out. And through the magic of video editing, you won't have to watch the whole thing. I've cut the dreidel out and I'm going to very, very carefully, hopefully without ruining the shape. See if I can hopefully pick it up. Yep. Got a little, uh-oh.
You turned it into Texas.
What happened? Wait, I can fix this. Okay. Okay. Well, it's not made from a factory. I'm going to stick some onions on here. And I want to be quite generous with the onions because who would want to skimp on onions? Oh, yum, yum, yum. This smells so yummy and oniony. And get a little on the top of the dreidel there. And like most doughs, we're not going to let this rise like we usually do. I said that wrong. We are not letting this rise. We are going to preheat the oven and get it in there. And it will be delicious. And let's see if I can figure out something else to do with the rest of that challah dough. I'll show you what happens. So extra dough means get creative. And my husband made a Star of David because why not? And we had some extra onions extra onions. I sound like from the cast of Oklahoma. Like Ado Annie. Anyway, we had some extra onions, and he created a Star of David. So let's see what else we come up with for the rest of the dough. So we are just playing at this point. So we have just a little bit of the onion mixture yet, and some more extra dough. And my videographer has asked to take over. He likes to create too. He's used the leftover onion mixture on sort of a long rectangle-ish piece. And he has an idea, and I'm just letting him run with it. You want to talk about it?
Well, I'm just gonna kind of make a filling of the onion and poppy seed mixture, just like that, and kind of seal the edge so it's kind of self-contained in there. And then bring it over to here, and then just do a twist on it.
All right. Well, that will be yummy.
Like that. Something like that, I don't know.
And then I think I'll just make little rolls, hollow rolls with the rest of that filling over there. All right. These are about to go in the oven right now. So everything's out of the oven. And as my videographer hubby pans down, you're going to see the dreidel shaped onion board. And it turned out beautiful, and honestly, I cannot wait to eat it, but I'm not going to eat it right now, much as I want to. And the cute little Star of David. And that was the rope that he twisted, but then we joined it together. And I also have the remainder dough in rising right now, and I made a little cinnamon babka really fast. And who knows, I have not been successful with making babkas pretty, so we'll see how that turns out. But anyway, I want to wish you a very happy Hanukkah this year, from my family to yours. I hope it's the end of a better year and the beginning of another better year, secular year, I should say, next year. Happy Hanukkah. By the way, if you are not Jewish or you do not celebrate Hanukkah, there's no reason why you can't do everything that I did, but just don't cut it into a dreidel. Make a big rectangular onion board. Same thing.